talking about the Palestine situation, again, in 12 years ago, I was like very publicly on my show, I was telling the Palestinian central bank, they have a central bank. I was like, you should put everything in a Bitcoin. And you could, and in 10 years, you'd be able to buy Israel. But of course that message didn't get through. I have like huge popularity in the Black community in America and around the world because, I was very adamant on Keiser Report talking to Black men in America saying, buy Bitcoin now as a way to, it's why you can't take your money.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, those are the terms that I would use because, and I think it's appropriate in this case. It's money that cannot be seized, and Black communities constantly. You look what happened in New Orleans after the hurricane there. All the Ninth Ward, everybody's house got stolen and turned over to the developers. It was like one of the only thriving Black communities in America, built up over many generations, and boom, the
land grab.
Yeah, land grab came in, took it all, gone. And this happens over and over and over again. Right? So the Black community, put your wealth into Bitcoin as much as you can. Whitey can't get it. I mean, is this an appropriate phrase to use in this instance? Why not? I mean, fuck it. It's just language. It's not going to kill anybody. I'm a cracker. I can use, I can use the C word. I can use Whitey. I can say Whitey. I can say cracker. I can say honky. And by the way, I don't castigate people and force them to say, oh, that's the C word. I'm happy. You can say cracker. Yeah, okay. You say cracker. I'm fine with the cracker. Call me a cracker. I don't give a shit. But I'll tell you this. If you want unconfiscatable wealth, put it into Bitcoin. So, Isaiah Jackson, who wrote Bitcoin in Black America,
great book.
On page 12, it says he learned about Bitcoin from Max Keiser, a notable white man. I am a notable white man, which if Black community terms is about the highest compliment you can get, right? It's like Tariq Nasheed, who's a Black nationalist.
Yeah.
He would say he would never even go that far as to call me a notable white man. I think I was on his spaces recently and he referred to me in a way, he didn't say anything derogatory about me. That's about as much as I could expect from Tariq Nasheed, but that's fine. I'm happy with that. He does good work. I think he's an important documentarist, and he's been super generous with his time. He's been on my show several times, and I think his point of view it's a really valuable point of view.
Yeah.
And I like getting into it. And it's like because it's fascinating, it's important. If there's a precedent for it. But I don't want to go down digress too much on that. But
no, you bring up great points. And Isaiah Jackson, I've referenced his book before, Bitcoin in Black America, and it's a really, he's trying to, and especially communities that have been disproportionately financially targeted, Latino, Native American communities. That's why when I heard like the Navajo reservation was doing their own mining, I go, yes, every reservation, do your own mining, man.
Yep.
Like get out, especially those reservations in the Southwest, you have all that solar energy.
Yep.
Like empower. This is what, empower yourselves financially. I was not empowered financially when I got crushed, when I lost my home, because I was just trusting in the system, and this politician will be better than that politician. And the system, as you've point out in grave detail, is so corrupt. Every time you go into the specifics of how corrupt it is, I think I know all about how corrupt it is until I start talking to you, and then you're like, God dang, there's even more corruption. Like, it is way more corrupt. It's just like, oh no, there's a meth lab in the grade school, and the Easter Bunny is cooking meth with Santa Claus. Like, it just.
Well, I'll give you a story about that. HSBC, which Hong Kong what is it? Hong Kong HSB Bank. What's the symbol for it? It's a huge.
I know. Yeah.
British bank. They were originally in China. I forget HSBC.
I'll look that up real quick.
Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, I believe it stands for. Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation. I think it was the original what HSBC stands for. And of course, it's part of the British Empire and then blah, blah, blah.
You're correct. Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation.
Okay. So they were doing so much money laundering business with Mexican drug cartels that they actually built facilities that would fit the boxes that they would submit into the cambios to be laundered by HSBC, and design them so that $1 million in a suitcase was a certain dimensions. So, and that they created a depository box to accommodate the actual suitcase full of dirty cash. Like they built and designed a cambio to accept dirty cash along the physical dimensions of the dirty cash. Like that's how granular, and they were getting into the industrial strength, the assembly line of fraud. And they were caught laundering billions and billions. Wachovia Bank, by the way, I think is the most Mexican drug money laundering bank ever. They were bought by Warren Buffett, who never mentions the fact that he bought into Wachovia Bank. And I think they got caught with like 400 billion. You know, these are numbers that I haven't looked at in a little bit, so it might be off, but astronomical amounts of money. But HSBC is, you know, the amount of money laundering that they did, they are so incredibly corrupt. And of course, they were the first to say that Bitcoin is used in illicit activities. Right. But of course, that's false. I mean, at one point, Bitcoin may have accounted for 2% of all illicit activities, but of course, that number is going down. I think it's under 1% because it's a horrible use case, illicit activities, because it's all in the public blockchain. You know, you can see all the transactions. It's easy to find if you're doing criminal activity on Bitcoin. It's not practical for criminal activity at all. It disincentivizes criminal activity.